All right, Lindsey would be smacking Iran even harder right now. That's the subject of the riff. So, Senator Lindsey Graham was truly a great American patriot, a freedom fighter, a throwback to an older Republican Party that shunned isolationism and understood that America must never retreat from its friends, its allies, or the cause of freedom. He was a great friend of Israel at a time when far too many in American politics are turning away from Israel, even retreating to a hateful and bigoted anti-Semitism that is plaguing the socialist-leaning Democratic Party today, and even, I say with regret, infiltrating some extreme elements in the GOP. Now, on this and most things regarding foreign policy, Lindsey Graham knew the difference between right and wrong, good and evil. He passed away Saturday, but he would not have been happy with the events that transpired Sunday in the Middle East. Now, here's how President Trump, a dear friend of Lindsey Graham's, reported to Fox and Friends this morning. Take a listen carefully, please.
Something that nobody knows. Yesterday, they had an 11-hour meeting. Everything's 11 hours with these guys. You know, you can't settle a one sentence in 1 hour and 1 minute. It should be 1 minute. And everything was agreed to yesterday. And they leave the room, and they call back, and they say, we had to make a couple of changes. I said, changes? They got to make changes? We're not going to make changes. Always changes. They just, you know, they're professional negotiators. That's all they are. I don't even call them good at it. They haven't gotten anything. They got nothing from me.
All right. Now, if I understand the chronology here, yesterday, meaning Sunday, according to Mr. Trump, there was an 11-hour meeting with Iran, of course, and everything was agreed to. His words. Presumably, that means opening up the Hormuz Strait and denuclearizing Iran and moving the enriched uranium out of the country. But then the Iranians walk out of the room, shortly afterwards call back and say we have to make some changes. Next thing you know, and we're still on yesterday, Sunday, still yesterday. The next thing you know, the Iranians hit an oil tanker in the Strait and then proceeded to bomb Oman, Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Qatar, and the UAE, 6 of our Gulf allies. Presumably, these decisions were made within an hour or two after this 11-hour meeting agreement that turned out to be a complete lie, which, of course, that's what the Iranians do. They lie. It's the nature of their immoral, gruesome, barbaric, Nazi-like regime. But now, in response to that, as I understand the chronology here, reported by Mr. Trump, the commander-in-chief has decided the United States will become the guardian of the Strait of Hormuz and restore the naval blockade on Iranian ports for Iranian ships. And later today, Mr. Trump posted on Truth Social that he will be making a speech to the nation on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Somehow, it seems that the U.S. response to Iran's warfare escalation should be greater. Now, we may hear about that Thursday night, but not tonight. And by the way, in addition to Iran's repeated violation of the ceasefire, and of course the memorandum of understanding by bombing oil tankers and our Gulf state allies and our American military bases, if all that weren't bad enough, our satellite pictures have discovered that Iran appears to be using the roughly $5 billion worth of oil sales given to them prematurely to rebuild their nuclear installations in Pickaxe and Parchin Mountains. Now, to be sure, we have been bombing them heavily in recent days, and that's important. And to be sure, when you cross a red line with Mr. Trump, you will pay for it. But I would think the late Senator Graham would want even bigger strikes at Iran right now, this evening, tonight. And perhaps those bigger strikes are in fact coming. I hope so. Now, I knew Lindsey down through the years. I loved his wickedly hilarious sense of humor and the good work he did, by the way, as budget chair on last year's One Big Beautiful Bill. By the by, Senator Ron Johnson, a free market supply sider, may well become the next Senate budget chair. Wouldn't that be something? Anyway, Lindsey Graham was not really an economic guy. I never really agreed with him and his gang of 8 bipartisan attempts on immigration or climate change or some other domestic matters. But, when it came to defending America and our allies and the freedom that has made this the greatest country in the history of history, my hat is off to the late Senator Lindsey Graham. And that's the riff.